I'm Kevin Shaw with the Watercraft Journal, and today we have something very special for you. We're here with Dave Bamdas of RIVA Racing, and we just spent the better part of the morning test riding this very same unit. And what you're looking at isn't just a regular 2019 FX SVHO. Rather, what we have is the RIVA Yamaha Limited Edition FX1800R. And it is a 350 horsepower unit that RIVA is going to be building 25 of these.
That's correct, Kevin.
Okay, so a limited edition, limited number of these very special hand-built machines that, and we can attest to this, runs over 83 miles an hour at 8,800 RPM. That is smoking fast, and it's probably way more ski than I or any of us would ever want to have. But I'll tell you what, it does it all day long, and we're really, really tickled with the machine that we got to test ride today. Now, when it comes to the limited editions, we've had our chance to try out even back 5 years ago with the first RIVA edition Yamaha, and that was the FZR 350.
Correct.
That was a blast.
Right.
And then you guys graduated on to
GP1800 series.
That's right, the GP1800, and that was a home run too.
Right.
So tell me about the decision to go with the FX this year.
Absolutely. Well, we're very excited about this new platform by Yamaha, which is the new FX. The previous generation FX went from 12 to 2018.
Right.
And for 2019, complete new hull, complete new deck, and this thing is amazing. And we decided we wanted to build our limited edition this year around this new FX platform. We have a lot of new parts and have a lot of stuff to show you.
Yeah, no, it's super exciting. Obviously, one of the big things that we teased about when the new 19s were introduced was how much DNA that Yamaha shared in the new FX with the GP.
Right.
So you have a really aggressive, hard performer rather than a more staid cruiser. And we're seeing a result out of that machine that is giving us basically a bigger GP almost.
Right. Well, it's very comfortable to ride. It's a three-seater. It's still very comfortable to ride. It plows through the rough surf. It handles like a dream. But it has that nimble handling like a GP. It's like a stretched GP. And with our handling package, this thing is amazing, as you saw today on the water.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, out there on the water, I was really trying to put it through the corners as hard as I could, pretending I was on a buoy course. And there was a while there that it just really felt like a smaller ski. You had to remind yourself that you're on a full-size three-seater, like you said.
Exactly.
And so that couldn't be possible without many of the handling features that you guys developed specifically for this new platform.
Right.
So let's start from the top and work our way bottom.
Let's do it.
All right, so you introduced this new steering system. There's an all-new Billet steering system specific for the FX.
Correct. This is specifically for the FX, the 2019 FX, but it happens to backdate down to the 2012 FX.
So a guy with a 2016 could put that on.
Exactly. And we're removing all the stock plastic stuff, and the stock steering system, and you get this nice precision billet aluminum system, gets all the play out of your steering.
Right.
You're still retaining your adjustment.
You can keep that tilt.
The tilt up and down is still there, and it accepts your 1 7/8 inch standard MX bars like the RIVA bars.
Okay.
And it just cleans this whole area up really nicely.
Yeah, opens it up is really nice. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but these are actually the factory pods, correct?
Correct. These are the factory pods, which include all of your ride controls and your throttle trigger and your stop and start switches, and they slide right onto the RIVA bars.
Awesome.
So we have the RIVA billet steering system, we have the RIVA handlebars, the factory controls, and we went with our ODI grips.
Right.
The ODI grips are awesome.
Made a big difference.
Yeah, they're 130 millimeters in length, and we've capped off the package with our RIVA grip ends, which are nice billet grip ends that are available in a variety of colors, in this case red to match the color scheme of the FX.
Exactly. I was going to say is that one thing that's always signature to the RIVA limited editions is that you guys take the extra step to anodize a lot of the billet parts.
Right. We've anodized the steering system, we've anodized a lot of components under the hood and the rear exhaust outlet, so we'll get to that in just a moment.
Oh yeah, certainly. All right, so working our way down, we got a really nice race-inspired seat.
Exactly. The seat cover is key because this machine has so much G-force in the corner. The stock seat cover is a little slippery, and this has a really nice medium slip texture. Jet Trim builds our seat covers for us, and they're the best in the business when it comes to seat covers. And that medium slip technology will not tear up raw skin, so if you're wearing board shorts and your legs are rubbing against it, it's not going to tear up your legs, but it will give you that extra grip in the corner so you have that feeling of confidence that you're on the machine.
Right, right. No, that was something I noticed too, and you're exactly right. Wearing shorts and being engaged and shifting around on the seat.
And it's a beautiful seat cover also.
Oh, yeah,
A lot of
looks
custom
awesome.
stitching. You know, you got the carbon fiber weaves and the custom white and red panels. It's just beautiful. Beautiful.
I got to comment on something, and I think this is kind of a neat detail that kind of slips past a lot of people, is the attention to detail that you guys took in getting the graphics to look like a factory.
That's right.
Like a factory design. I think that is so neat. That's really unique for a build like that.
That's right.
And you see, it's just the build's in the details. You know what I'm saying?
On our limited editions, we always play off the factory graphics. Then we add in, obviously, the designation of the ski, which is the FX1800R, and our RIVA logos in the limited edition. So it's a sleeper.
Oh,
If you look at it quickly, you might not notice. But if you look a little bit closer, you'll know that it's a bad one.
Again, it's that it's the details that really make it neat.
Exactly.
Now let's look. Obviously, oh yeah, we got a really unique.
The Transom Mat.
Yeah, that looks fantastic.
So the boarding mat on this rear platform is really neat because the factory vendor for this turf is HydroTurf,
right,
which is a leader in the industry
as
far as it comes to non-slip turf materials. They supply a lot of the OEM stuff, and they make this rear panel for us with the RIVA Racing.
Right. Yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, the factory one just says FX, but it even matches the same pattern for all the.
Right. The mats going forward are OEM. That's what comes on the FX, and we've replaced this with a very OEM looking.
That's
mat.
Great.
Right.
That's great. Okay. So now, can we take a peek at some of the handling components?
Absolutely.
That's what really made this machine pop.
There's 3 key components that make all the difference. Let's start with the sponsons. So the factory sponsons are removed. We put on our RIVA adjustable sponsons. These have 3 positions, up and down.
Okay.
The way you rode them today was in the middle position.
In the middle position,
right.
Okay.
They can drop one down for a more aggressive ride,
wow,
but I don't think you're ready for that.
No, I don't think I could even hang on.
Right. The sponsons are key. Anytime you're over, say, 75 miles an hour, it keeps you from rocking back and forth, keeps straight line stability, and really gives you a lot of confidence in the turns.
Yeah, the Pro Series sponsons in all of our previous testing, the Pro Series sponsons have really helped out in providing, especially rough water tracking. And we just find that it really is a make or break when it comes to a hull design.
Nice little detail on the limited edition. Notice we anodized the washers red to match the color scheme.
Now I noticed something else that is part of the uniqueness and the time that RIVA spends in developing a sponson is the backing plate is machined and actually blends into the blade itself.
That's right. There's a lot of work in that backing plate. We spent hundreds of hours on the water developing these sponsons. Moving back to the ride plate. The ride plate is longer than the original ride plate, has a different angle, and this is essential anytime you're going over like 73 miles an hour on this hull. You got to move on to the RIVA ride plate because it trims the nose up and it just makes the machine handle like a dream. And you felt that today.
So I just so happen to have a factory stock ride plate. And I want to see what the difference is between this real kind of boring looking 3-angled thing versus RIVA's new ride plate.
Right.
So first, I mean, there's not a whole lot going on with this guy. And we're seeing a whole lot of action going on with this ride plate.
Right.
And first and foremost, I kind of want to see the difference in length.
Yeah.
So we got a whole lot of planing surface that we're adding on to the top of it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So this is the plate that was specifically developed by our team for the 2019 FX.
Okay.
And obviously it's longer, but it's also a completely different angle. This planing surface tips back, gets the machine off its nose.
Okay, so it's totally changing the attitude of the ski.
Exactly. And you have these deep chines in here that let her sit as far as stability at top speed.
Right.
Nice hard edge right here. It's really a completely different design.
Right. Well, obviously it's helped getting it off the nose, and then it's helped with, similar to maybe you would think, you know, traction grooves on tires is giving a little bit of that reverse chine right into that. Right into that.
It just works perfectly. This plate with the sponsons and the intake grate, it's the ultimate handling package.
You're glued.
I do want to mention that this plate is not powder coated. It's a pre-production
Right.
unit.
We got our hands on that one early today.
Right.
Didn't we?
Right. The units I'll be shipping out will be black powder coated, and it's a
good.
really nice piece, cast aluminum.
There you go. Okay, and those will be coming pretty soon then.
Oh yeah, it'll be available very shortly.
Fantastic. Okay, so we've got the new sponsons, the adjustable sponsons.
Right.
We have the new ride plate.
Right.
Obviously, there's one more item that we got to talk about, and that's the new intake grate.
Right. This is the intake grate, and it's actually not new. This intake grate has been out for a while. It fits the FX series from 2012 right up to 2019.
All the bolt holes line up.
Exactly.
That's
and
great.
It works fantastic on the 2019 FX. We tried a bunch of new designs, and we kept coming back to our original FX intake grate.
Okay. So that's a really unique blade design, and that helps preload the pump and get that prop all the bite and traction it needs.
Right. Top loader wing directs the water right up into the center of the jet pump. It has a good deep rear chip that also loads the pump. And the rails are also deeper, so that helps for tracking.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. Now, obviously, when it comes to something like that and really wanting to seal up the whole pump tunnel, you're going to want to accompany that with your seal kit. Right.
The pump seal kit, they're kind of like rubberized material, and it seals right up into these openings right here, and then when you put your silicone on, it gives you a nice sealing surface. So the pump seal kit is essential to keep the cavitation down.
Great. Okay. Fantastic. So all that together is what's keeping that ski planted and going over 80 miles an hour and keeping all that traction.
Exactly. The handling package is the sponsons, the ride plate, the intake grate, the pump seal kit. We put the power to the water with the pump impeller. We use the Solus impellers.
Okay. What pitch is that?
We're using the 1318 Concord.
Perfect.
Okay. It really works well. That's the 1318 with this engine package is spinning 8,800 RPMs, 83 miles an hour.
Okay. Well, that's great. That's really what's getting all the power to the water.
While we're back here.
Oh, look at you.
Yep, that's the rear exhaust outlet.
That's fantastic. I love the nice black finish to it. You even got your laser etched logo in there.
Right. The rear exhaust outlet is obviously part of our rear exhaust kit. So it's a direct run from the factory water box right out the back of the watercraft. As you know, the standard exhaust system on the Yamaha watercraft go from the water box through some plastic sound suppression resonators or plenums, and then they tee into the side of the jet pump area.
Right.
So we're creating a more reliable situation. We're getting rid of all the plastic, we're getting rid of multiple hose clamp attachments, and we're going directly from the water box right out the transom of the watercraft.
Plus you get a great sound out of it.
It sounds awesome, it looks awesome,
yeah,
and it is definitely adding reliability, and it gives you, reduces the back pressure for a little bit more bottom end punch.
Oh, even better. Okay, so we've pretty much seen everything here on the outside of the ski. Let's take a look under the seat.
Let's do it.
All right.
So, here we have our 350 horsepower engine package.
And this is the same SVHO engine package that we've seen on the previous GP, correct?
Pretty much, yeah. It's based on our Stage 2 RIVA kit, because you can buy these parts as a Stage 2 kit and put them on your watercraft, whether you have an FZR or a GP or an FX.
Okay.
This is our Stage 2 engine kit with a couple extra goodies that we put in there.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got a few new things to add to the parts list.
Cosmetically, we've also taken the time to paint the valve cover red. You'll see the plaque, which has the serial number. This is 0 of 25 because this is the pre-production, and we were building obviously 25 more units. And everything fits beautifully, and we've taken a lot of time with the layout. I actually have one of these engines outside of the ski. It'd be easier for us to do a walk around.
Great.
So let's go over there and take a look.
Let's go check it out.
Yeah.
Well, this is a pretty neat setup. This is the whole engine package right here in front of us.
Exactly. It's pulled out of the ski, so it's very easy to see every piece.
Cool.
So back here is your electrical components.
Certainly.
And the most important control aspect of that is the ECU, or engine control unit. And we've reflashed or reprogrammed the engine control unit using the RIVA Map Tuner X system, which remaps the fuel curves, the timing curves, the rev limit, and it works perfectly in unison with the rest of the modifications we've done to the engine.
Great. And so what do we got here when it comes to hard parts? I'm looking at the same bright red valve cover, and underneath it, I understand you got some spring retainers.
Exactly. We've replaced the factory spring retainers with our titanium, lightweight titanium retainers, which are much better at a higher RPM because we're swinging this engine up to 8,800 RPMs.
Certainly.
Stock RPMs are around 7,500.
Right.
So for added reliability and performance, we go with the titanium retainer.
You don't want those valves touching the pistons.
Exactly. Exactly.
And this is the new billet fuel rail. Now, are we stepping up the injectors, or does this run with just factory injectors? Actually,
with this package, we're running the stock fuel injectors. The billet rail's on there more for cosmetics, but it also flows better.
Okay,
and it mounts on there very nicely. Intake manifold is stock. Throttle body is stock. Moving over here is your supercharger. Now we've installed our RIVA upgraded shaft kit into
Right.
the supercharger, and that is adding reliability at the high RPMs, but the supercharger impeller is stock.
Really, you're running the factory impeller.
Exactly.
So you're not blowing the boost out through the roof.
No, we're producing 350 horsepower at 8,800 RPMs, and we're going 83 miles an hour with a stock supercharger
that's
impeller.
great.
But we've added the shaft for reliability. We do have kits where you can add the 20-pound wheel and the 24-pound supercharger wheel if you want to go even faster. But for this limited edition package, stock supercharger wheel.
Right, but what's great about that is you're not worrying about hurting the plastic intake manifold, but you're still getting everything you need to go over 80 miles an hour.
Right, very reliable. This is a daily driver with a lot of horsepower.
That's great. And this is the power filter kit.
Exactly. This is our famous power filter, which is an air intake system. So you're taking the cold air from the front of the ski, because this is where your factory vents come in,
Exactly.
taking the cold air from the front of the machine.
Get a nice dense charge into the throttle body.
And it's piped down through this ducting right into your supercharger. And then we actually use a engine breather upgrade kit. It's actually located back here.
Right under my arm. Here we are.
That keeps the hot oil vapor from the engine out of your power filter.
Yeah,
so.
you're getting a lot of that atmospheric pressure out of the crankcase and a nice clean, nice efficient filter there.
Right.
Now, I had my arm on this. I was kind of hiding it for last, but this is really the neatest thing that we've seen in addition to obviously all the handling packages. But for 2019, this is this new intercooler. Please tell me about this.
Yes, this is our new Gen 3 power cooler for Yamaha. And the Gen 3 power cooler has a really large cooler core. We're replacing the small OEM intercooler that comes on the Yamaha SVHO engine. It's restrictive. I mean, it's fine, for the stock horsepower. But when you want to bring the horsepower up and you're riding hard and those heat levels come up, this big power cooler really cools down those intake temperatures, because the supercharger condenses that air, and when it's, it's an air pump basically.
Certainly.
And those air intake temperatures go way up when you compress the air. And the intercooler takes those air temps down.
I'm seeing a lot of volume here. I mean, this is really pretty substantial over the factory unit. I'm also seeing some billet end caps.
Right. She's put together with billet end caps, a very large core, which is rated for 600 horsepower.
Wow.
She has these high temp silicone tubes that connect the supercharger to the intercooler, and the intercooler back to the throttle body.
And these all come with the intercooler?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we have this baby.
Yeah.
This is
Look at that.
this is the 50 millimeter tile blow-off valve, or BOV. So the blow-off valve, what this does for you is when you're at a high RPM rate and that supercharger is pumping a lot of air, and then you let off the throttle,
Chop that throttle,
and that throttle plate closes, that compressed air has nowhere to go.
Right.
So this little pulse line tells your blow-off valve that throttle plate's closed, and this blows off the extra boost pressure. What does that do for you? First of all, it saves your clutch, your supercharger clutch, because it's not fighting against that boost pressure. Second of all, it blows off this hot air, so when you get back on the throttle, you get a cool boost of dense air.
Good.
And it also sounds really cool.
Yeah, it does. It does sound really cool. I got to tell you.
That's the tile blow-off valve.
And I noticed something rather interesting is that there's also an adapter plate here. Now, this adapter plate, does this mean that it'll sit in a factory location?
Right. The power cooler, Gen 3 power cooler, was designed to mount to the factory air filter bracket, which is sitting right in here. And we recently rolled out this new aluminum bracket that replaces the air filter bracket. It's just a heavier duty version of the factory air filter bracket. And this gives you more adjustability with these slots here to go back and forth for different hull fitment situations.
Great. No, that's perfect. I think you guys have thought of pretty much everything, especially not just for the guy who's gonna, the 1 out of 25 guys who are gonna get their hands on a limited edition, but also for the guy who wants to replicate with all the parts through the catalog and put it on his own FX.
There's going to be 25 people who buy this FX limited edition, and they're going to be very lucky, and they're going to have a hell of a machine. But for all the other people out there that have 2019 Yamaha FXs and want to get these same components, they're all available. They may not be anodized red, they may not be powder coated red valve covers, but they'll be available in our standard finishes, which are great hard anodized finishes, and
they can replicate all the performance.
The performance is all the same.
That's
exactly.
Awesome. That's really cool. All right, Dave, I got to say, this is a whole lot of machine for what, $26,995?
Yeah, just under 27.
Just under 27, and that's 25 units. So if you want one, you basically have to call right now.
Exactly. They go very quickly every year.
Right.
You know, it's turnkey. You call our staff. If
Your
you live
team
out of
starts
town,
wrenching.
yeah, we build them as fast as we can.
Right.
But they're usually sold out early in the season.
Man, that's fantastic. Now, obviously, not everyone's going to get into those limited 25 units, but they can replicate all the performance and even get the same high traction seat and the steering system and all the handling components right through rivaracing.com, right?
That's right. We offer just about everything except for the limited graphics package.
Sure.
Right. So you can essentially build your own out of your own FX to the same specification. It might not look exactly the same with the colors,
right,
but the performance will be identical.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for letting me play with your very, very fun toys today. This was a real treat, and I love coming out. You guys always have something new for us to mess with. Honestly, we are really, really wowed with what you're able to cultivate out of what we thought was a great FX SVHO already. Now it's all the more better.
You're welcome.
So thank you again. Guys, thank you for watching the Watercraft Journal. I'm Kevin Shaw. We're here with Dave Bamdas of RIVA Racing. Make sure to check us out Monday through Friday at watercraftjournal.com.